Right? A man can't have children unless his mama and whoever he make babies with subconsciously agree in the network.
Hey, I heard something like that before, Roy. I heard some old people say something like that.
It's so hard for a male child to be born that most of us don't realize the gift of heaven to earth that we is when we sell ourselves to become other than a man. Look, I got a you on mute, Elder. I got a post I did on Facebook a while back, and it literally have a thing, and it says every awakened woman is a Tesla coil.
Go ahead.
The problem is the women who fought wars in the men they fought with and against created a condition where the woman deviated from the expression of mother, wife, and daughter and became emasculated or emasculated, I should say, into a warrior woman to do what the man was supposed to be doing in the first place. But you got outside forces using the cover of religion to convert males into feminine males or alternative lifestyle type males.
Go ahead.
Right? So then it throws the balance off on the other spectrum. If you have this many feminine males, you got to have a corresponding collection of masculine women in order to maintain balance.
Go ahead.
So homosexual males create aggressive masculine lesbians, what we call them butch dykes. Right? This because of the extra feminine male. Nature is compensating in the female sector by giving them studs. Right? And this is because everybody supposed to have somebody that they can love unconditionally without all of the influence of the society telling you how your relationship's supposed to work. We talking 50-50 relationship conversation, right? Ain't in a real relationship, there is no such thing as 50-50. There's no such thing as 20-80, 70-30. In a real relationship, it's 100-100.
Right.
It's 100-100. Ain't no I'm hiding my cell phone from my wife. If she's my wife, she can answer it. And if the whoever on the other end want to get out of line with her, they're going to have to contend with me. Answer the phone with respect and courtesy. Well, if I let somebody answer my phone, give them their respect.
Right.
Period. I don't got time to look. I'm too old to be creeping through alleys and crawling through windows trying to sleep with somebody else's woman. I don't want nobody else's woman.
Yeah, I got my own.
I don't even want a conversation with a chick that tell me she got a boyfriend, a man, a husband, or none. I don't want to be entertaining her because that's not my job. That's his job.
Right. Go ahead. That's fair.
Right. Real relationships is if you all in and I'm all in, we all in this together. We gonna take the bumps together. We gonna take the bruises together. And then when we get done winning, because I'm not losing, I don't care what you say.
Right.
I'm not losing. So when I get done winning, we gonna break bread together. We gonna count money together. We gonna go to the shooting range together. We gonna go to the sauna together, the hot pool together. And if that other chick want to get in, she got to go through her.
Yeah.
I'm not finna be wrestling with no internal conflict about who is my counterpart. I know who the counterbalance is for me.
Thanks.
So if you want to get in, you got to match her frequency with her. You ain't got to worry about me. I'm easy peasy.
Yeah. Right.
If she green light you, you got the green light. If she red light you, you got the boot. That's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But see, all of the dudes trying to be slick and call themselves polygamists, and they really trying to be undercover pimps.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
They just don't want to use the word pimp because they want to use the love and light community as they cover story the pimp.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
That's not. I mean, you got to understand the pimp game if you want to understand how to keep a house full of women together. But you don't have to be out there making people do nefarious things under the pretense of spiritual awakening.
Yeah, they realize
so you can have. Yeah, that's not the game.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Somebody running the game on you, they not giving you the game.
That's right. They whoremongers. We got a place for them.
Well, I don't got no problem with nobody living their life how they choose to live it. This is what people find hard to understand. When I tell people stuff, I'm not trying to change your mind or your life. I'm just telling you, this is what I have come to discover. If you agree, we can have a conversation about it, and I can take you deeper down the rabbit hole. If you, excuse me, if you disagree, you got a full 100% right not to agree with me. As soon as I think everybody supposed to agree with me, I'm self-delusional at that point. If nobody else can't have their own opinions and their own mind to think for themselves, right? I'm trying to be a cult leader at that point. And not a cult leader in a good way. I don't want to, if everybody can think for themselves, we won't have half these problems. The problem is all of these people are talking about, I don't need no leader. And they life in shambles. They don't got no emotional self-control. Their emotional IQ is pure idiot. And their intellectual IQ is off the charts because they got PhDs, BAs, associates, masters, but their emotional IQ is retarded.
That's big facts right there. Right?
Yeah. All of the wealth of earth comes through the motherland, right? If you inherit through your fatherland, your sister is your administrator. She is your executor of state. This is why the pharaohs used to marry their sister to keep the wealth in the family. And everybody looking at it from modern perverted perspectives because they thinking it's about sex. Because they think everything is about sex and money. It's not always about sex and money. Sometimes it's about power and control. Sometimes it's about, I'm going to rule over you, whether you want me to or not, versus, come on, y'all, let's overthrow this tyrant. And all of the moral judgments that we give, where we learn that shit from? When did we start deviating from nature as our guiding force for telling us what's time to move, when we supposed to plant our crops, right? When we supposed to harvest the crops? Nature's supposed to be the one telling us. You don't see nobody in the middle of December or January with no plow talking about they about to plant their garden. So nature got to be somewhat right. But all of a sudden, we don't listen to nature no more because somebody said, God said, and then they put it in a book and said, all the stuff you see me doing, don't do none of this because I'm God. You only do the stuff I tell you you can do. Now, that's not, if it's above question, what Malachi say?
Say it.
It's beneath me. If I can't question it, you can have it. I don't need it.
Go ahead.
As soon as you take away my right to be concerned about what you telling me and what it means to me in my life and the people that I'm going to be tending to as a patriarch in my family that supports my matriarch, I don't have time for you.
Right.
Preacher come knock on the door, say, we 7-Day Adventists, we'd like to come have a conversation with you. I say, you probably don't want to have a conversation with me.
Right.
I'm the wrong one to come to have a conversation with.
Right.
Right. Because when you get done having a conversation with me, if you don't, you're going to find out how many facts that you don't have about what you say you believe.
Right.
Because I be investigating stuff just to be doing something. You know, I got a lot of leisure time on my hands, you know, waiting on this sleeping giant to fall. He already been zapped. He done. America fell, y'all. Babylon is gone.
Hey, Rod, you going right to my next question that everybody's asking in the chat, and this is a big question everybody been asking. And we'll get into the other question about the birthright in the land. But people, we served the eviction notice, and actually they've been already left the building already. Rod had already told y'all they boarded the place up a couple year or two back. We had already told you that. But we just put out the Big Mama's eviction notice, and people think that the government is still in business, and that they don't know about that these people are putting on. They got this thing where they can film at these different locations. Could you break down some on that, how they filming at these different locations?
You remember when we did that show with Miss Dean a couple years ago?
Yeah, Walking with the Ancestors. Yeah.
And I was telling her, I was like, we at the part now where the government gone, but the people don't know it's gone because their military is playing out a psychological operation using political satire.
Go ahead. I remember you saying that. Go ahead.
Right. Now, the whole thing comes full circle. They played out 3 chapters of Revelations in the last 4.5 years. And the latter chapters, the fall of the whore of Babylon, which was the character that them Kamalas was playing, right? She was supposed to miserably fail. That's why she failed miserably, right? Because the whore of Babylon has to fall to signal the final fall of Babylon, homosexual pedophile priest cults that's trying to convert the whole world to pedophilia, child sacrifice, cannibalism, right? And bloodletting rituals to the detriment of all of the children that's being born. And if they wanted to get the whole world on board with it, I don't like it. I don't agree. And all of the people that don't agree like me decided enough is a damn enough. Right? In order for evil to succeed, good men need to do nothing. Sometimes you don't have to do nothing. You just have to say something.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right? And this is the reason why all of the tribes have the oral tradition as the default, because most people are going to get so caught up in the written word through social engineering that when you drop in the oral tradition as the pretender to the throne to reclaim Big Mama's seat for Big Mama, right, as one of her children, and you just want the stuff to run efficiently and correctly, but they trying to tell you something that they don't know nothing about. See, first you have to figure out what's the standard for the oral tradition. It has to be in a recoverable format. This was the origin of the written word. The written word wasn't the authority. It was the reminder of what was said by the authority. That's where your law books came from. Most of us don't know that the author of Black's Law Dictionary, he was indigenous over here. He wrote the Black's Law Dictionary to expose the fraud of the corporation because they wouldn't give us any terms, definitions, and explanations. But they kept case files. And he used everything they said to define the language they were speaking, and then he put it in the book. Before that, the only dictionary was a small version of what became known as Bouvier's Law Dictionary. right? And it was just a pamphlet with only a few words from a couple of cases. But when the brother Black got done putting it together, they call it Black. I think that was his last name. Anyway, when he got done putting that book together and telling us everything we need to know, this is why they don't want you knowing legalese. Because ignorance of no excuse is going to be put out as the maxim of law. What do that mean? Right? A maxim of law is an idea that you keep in the forefront of people that's affected by the law, so they'll always know ignorance of the law is no excuse. You take the maxim, it becomes like a slogan of law, letting you know that when you come in this courtroom and don't know nothing, we don't care. We don't give a damn if you illiterate, if you handicapped, if you mentally deficient. We got a remedy for that, and we got a test for it called menis rea. It's the determining factor for culpability and guilt. The ability to determine coherently right from wrong. Menis rea. Right? That's what it's called in law. So when they say he doesn't have the menis rea to be punished, they saying that his level of whatever insanity was so egregious that even if he was wrong, he had no way of knowing he was wrong. Right? That's what they call guilt by insanity. Because remember, the Pope did these papal bulls. He said that he was taking control of the realm of the earth because there was no competent mind to handle the affairs of the people. So he would take his up on himself and his responsibility by papal bull to become the custodians of all of these people lacking in the menis rea of the law and the system of governance that they fall under. Most people don't know America is the final continuation of the Babylonian Empire and that Rome was just the median. They think that the Roman Empire is the source, but they're not using Roman blood magic, Roman money magic, and Roman sex magic. They using Babylonian. You can go look it up. It's in the Talmud and the Mishnah, which is the book that they was going by before the Old Testament was written. See how that come full circle, Elder? And they talk about sodomizing the boys and raping the infant children in the Talmud and the Mishnah. That's why they don't want the goy, the common people, the chattel, reading it. Because some of y'all mamas would be reading that talking about, I'm not going to send my child to these people. Right? But then we talking about foundational documentation overriding any of the speculation that followed. Go to the source. Why you think Malachi translated everything word for word? Go to the source. Right? They got all kind of tools, electronic tools to aid and assist you now. Right? If you don't know the Catholic Church wrote Islam, you really are totally blind to the function and operations of religion.
Go ahead.
80% of what we call Islam ain't Islam at all, but Arab culture.
Go ahead.
The appropriation of culture was infused into the conquest by methods of religion, where foreign people can impose their culture on foreign nations in order to convert them. By converting them, they surrender their birthright.
Yep.
Why do you think they have something in the church called the Nativity of the Christ?
Go ahead, break it down, Rod.
We're gonna do one better.
Colonization.
Can you Google? Can you pull something up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go to Google and type in Nativity of the Christ. We're gonna look at it. See, this is where the hold nationality as the ruling concept and the determining factor as to your birthright. But it's not, nationality is not the ruling factor. Heritability is the ruling factor of your sovereignty. If you're not an heir to sovereign status, you can't exercise sovereign status. Because to exercise sovereign status, it overrides any national outlook that they can present before you. A nation is a corporate substitute for a tribe. A nation is a corporate substitute for a tribe. This is why when they go into international court, they not arguing international law. They arguing law of nations because it's corporate. They not arguing law of nature, divine law. They not, that never come. Divine law and laws of nature is never hardly used in court. When they was using the self-defense defense for murders and things, the self-defense was you can't override the first law of nature, self-preservation, right? And the second law is the preservation of one species or one kind through procreation, but it's also by defending others. When you put the first and the second law of nature together, then you can't tell me I can't defend my wife and children because I'm going to blow up the whole army about man. I'm going to take my bare hands and peel your streets up and ball your city up and sling it to the stars. I'm going to be roaming down the street, swinging from lampposts, pounding on my chest, letting them know you're not doing that to man. So all I do now is I stay out of everybody's way. And the reason I stay out of everybody's way, because I know how I am. Because I know how I am, I got to first protect me in order to get me in enough position that I can protect the ones I care about. So then you have to follow the law of success by being constructively selfish, tending to the needs that you have to get you where you want to be in order to be the type of service that you choose to serve. If you can't take care of you, how the hell are you going to take care of a clan? Right? We had, like you said, we got the people talking about when we going to get our land back. Don't nobody own the land. We caretakers of the land. Right? We caretakers of the land.
They birthrights to get back the land. That's what people was asking. Like, how do they use it?
It don't work like that.
Yeah, that's what I said. Go break that down for them about the
look, this is what it boiled down to. Everybody that got a family is supposed to have a family farm. Members of the family is supposed to feed the family from the family farm by sending different members at different times of their life to do their internship on the family farm. But now, since they gave us this narrative of slavery to follow as our historical record, and we done deviated from the cultural aspects and the old ways of the tribes, we out here now running from ownership of the land. We never owned the land. We took care of the land. The settlers came with their ownership papers, right, from their salvage rights and their admiralty jurisdiction. The Uniform Commercial Code is the book that's supposed to keep them all playing the same game under the same rules. But when you playing a cheater, a pirate, right, a known liar, and you don't have the contract in writing, he gonna cheat every chance he get because you don't know. You don't have the mens rea to perceive the fraud that he's running on you. Therefore, you fall under the category the Pope gave you as an imbecile. You an imbecile in law. You not fit to handle your own affairs. So we talking about ownership of the land. Nobody own the land. You don't own earth. Earth own you. Your position in place on the earth is organized by the circumstances of the earth in order to get the right people to the right place to be caretakers of the land first. When we stop taking care of the land and start letting them overrun the land and do as they want and chop down all of the trees and burn down all of the villages and poison all of the water. When we did that, we forfeited our right until somebody come along and say the only way we're going to get our right back as caretakers of the land is to say enough is enough. Somebody got to speak for all of the collective tribes without having a preference for any of the wartime strategies of divide and conquer. Right? Once you understand what they're doing with the divide and conquer, they use science. They use science and the actual validity of a scientific fact as a justification to hate somebody. That's foul. Because now you got to worry about obedience to authority, to the wrong authority. Did you get to find that, Elder? You pull it up?
Yeah, I got it. It won't let me pull up. I can read it right here. It says, damn. It's two different ones, but the one I think you looking for.
We're going to read both of them. Read both of them.
Because see, the nativity of Christ is the birth of Christ, which is described in the Bible gospel of Matthew and Luke. The event of the nativity are considered to be the heart of Christian celebration. Now, this one, so let's deal with the nativity. Now, this one right here is, I think it's coming from that the word nationality. Nation is all stemming. Etymology of it is stemming from this word nativity, and it says nativity is one of the many words born of the Latin verb nasci, which means to be born. The gesture of the word was a long one. Nasci developed in the late Latin into nata, meaning birth, which passed through Anglo-French as native, before entering into English 14th century native. I guess that'll stem into nationality and all that, I guess.
Yeah, because they had to make nationality as a corporate fiction.
Go ahead. Yep. So
right. So the nativity of the Christ is to deceive you about the birth of the Christ. Where is the deception in John? Because he named both John. I mean, he brought Matthew and he named Luke.
Yeah.
Okay, now why is he using these two books?
Yeah, because John is the main guy. Them two guys were
but no. You're going too far. Bag up. They have the genealogy in two books. What two books is his genealogy in?
Matthew and Luke.
Okay, now Matthew and Luke gives the genealogy.
Yeah.
But both of them is the genealogy of Joseph according to the Christian world.
Yeah.
But they got different relatives in the lineage.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. So now it's telling you there's a fraud in the nativity or the birth of the Christ. Now let's find the fraud.
Go ahead.
The term mama's baby is what to Papa?
Daddy baby.
Right. Now, why is that important when looking at the nativity of the Christ?
Mitochondria. Mary.
Because the only common denominator in the nativity of the Christ is the motherline.
Yeah, because Joseph didn't even know he didn't think it was his son.
It wasn't his son, and he told you it wasn't his son.
I know. To my but even in the Bible, it plays out like that he didn't know. It plays out like that, Well,
according to the Christian world, Mary came up mysteriously pregnant.
There you go.
And they said that she was overshadowed by the Holy Ghost.
Go ahead.
That's what they said.
Go ahead.
Right? Now, we have to stop there because we have to define Mary. Who is Mary?
Go ahead. We go to
where we get Mary from?
Go ahead. The mother.
Mary is Ty Mary.
Go ahead.
Type Ty Mary in your thing and read what it say when I get. So Tamari means the land of Mary. Where is Tamari?
It's just pronounced autonomy, which is pronounced
It's Ta-M-A-R-I.
Yeah.
Or M-E-R-I.
Like Tamaray.
It's starting to click. I hear your synapses making connections now, Elder.
Yep. Hey, look, that's Big Mama land. Hold up. Damn, why the hell it ain't
Okay, now you gotta remember why we talking about Mary. The Latin definition for Mary is rebellious woman, but it was adapted from the Greek, Marie.
Yeah,
right?
Marie. Yep.
And
right.
and they got it from Kemet when they called Egypt Tamiri. They didn't call it Egypt. They didn't call it Kim. They called it Tamiri.
The land of Mary. Nana's land.
Right. Now, if it's the land of Mary, where do Mary live at on her land?
Go ahead, Rod. I'm trying to find it.
Right.
Yeah.
Mary, on her land, she lives in the most lavish of the palaces. Big Mama house.
Go ahead.
You always know Big Mama house because it has a picket fence in front of it. But in the ancient times, they was colossal pillars.
Go ahead.
Pull up the picture of the Temple of Dendera. You can't show it on there right now.
I gotta reset my computer to get it where it'll show because it won't even pull it up because I had to right before we went on, it started doing what it do, and I didn't get a chance to fix it.
All right, now remember,
hold down computer.
The Romans stole the sacerdotal seat,
Big
Mama's seat, and seated the Pope beneath Big Mama's seat. Right? Now, the land of Mary was called Tamari, but the home of Mary or the house of Mary is also called the lighthouse.
Go ahead.
Why do they call it the lighthouse? Why do they call it the lighthouse?
Because is it dealing with the ejaculation of the foul
no.
At the top of the lighthouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Pharaoh means lighthouse, but the Pharaoh is not the man. When we talking about Hatshepsut being the main Pharaoh, the Pharaoh has never been the woman. If you look the etymology of Pharaoh up in the Egyptian codex, you find out that it literally is a feminine word, and then they used it in ancient times in reference to the Pharaoh's wife.
Go ahead.
The Pharaoh's wife is the one who gives him his ability to rule by blood right.
Now I heard that part because that's why they got the statues with the woman standing holding her hands on the male like this, right? If you look at most of the statues before they came in for the Europeans,
you know the statue you see with the brother got a woman on each side of him.
Is that no, that's not the one with Osiris. That's Osiris and Haru.
I think it's Ramses. He got two women.
Ramses is the second, right?
Right. He got one on each side of him.
Yeah.
And the reason that he have one on each side, that's called uniting of the two kingdoms.
Okay, go ahead.
Remember, Egypt was split into Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. Right?
Yep, that's right.